out front now, Tim Pawlenty, no stranger to debate stages, as, of course, the former Republican governor of Minnesota, 2012 presidential candidate. Also with me here, David Urban and Van Jones. And since you're here, let me start with you. Van, Kayla's reporting on the economy. I was with President Biden a few weeks ago in Wisconsin when we began talking about the economy. And I expected him to have more of that empathy, and he didn't. He got defensive. He started listing the positives. And even when you would list all the things that people see, he didn't want to hear it. Mm-hmm. I believe that prior to that interview, people had counseled him to change his message on the economy. He didn't want to do it. Do you think he will, and do you think he can successfully?
Look, I think he is going to do the right thing. His great strength is empathy. He deeply cares about ordinary people, and he's a proud man. And he's proud because it's hard to land the economy where it is right now, as delicate as he is. You do have inflation coming down, unemployment going up. That's called a soft landing. He wants his credit, but trying to get credit yourself is the wrong way to go. I think what you're going to see from Joe Biden is a proud defense of his record. He's going to go after Donald Trump. He's also going to show you where he's going forward, where he's going to go in the economy going forward, and that will be a winning combination.
Well, that's crucial. And David, this is the question. Is Trump, who we know is preparing in a non-normal way, a non-standard way.
Non-traditional.
Non-traditional. But on something like this, traditional can matter because you want to be able to stand up there and know that the 5 points Biden's going to make in the economy, and you want to come back with every single one. By the way, anybody should be able to do that. The question is, will Trump be able to do that because he's not preparing in that way?
No, he's preparing. Listen, we kind of gloss over and forget the fact there was a second debate in 2020, right? Donald Trump didn't do so great in the first debate, and that's what was referenced here earlier. In the second debate, Donald Trump had command of the facts. He did incredibly well, and he won that debate. By all accounts, he won that debate, but people weren't tuning in. That Donald Trump I expect to show up on Thursday night, and that Donald Trump will rebut point by point by point. Van makes this point all the time. If Joe Biden doesn't empathize with people who can't, 56% of Americans can't put their hands on $1,000. And when the check engine light comes on your car, Van's talked about this before, it's a crisis for those people. If Joe Biden can't empathize and make those people out there feel like he understands their pain.
But if he can.
That's going to be a challenge, right?
So Tim, Governor Pawlenty, what do you think Joe Biden needs to do? I mean, and especially on this issue of the economy, where he does tend to get defensive as opposed to empathetic recently, how can he change that?
Well, he's been talking about the economy for a long time. And I think one of the problems is while the rate of inflation, if increase in inflation is slowing down, it's coming off a much larger base after raging inflation for the last 2 years.
And prices are still going up, is what you're also saying. Yeah.
Well, they're still going up, but they're also, in absolute terms, up dramatically compared to a couple of years ago. So when you buy bread, milk, gas, and any other thing in your life that's sort of core to you, it's a lot more expensive. And people aren't stupid. They feel that. So you could say the rates come down from 7% to 3%, but they still feel they're paying a lot more. And that's why he's losing that argument. On the other issue, though, Aaron, the ante for him is he has to show in this debate that he has the requisite physical and mental energy and strength to be president for 4 more years. And if you look at the polling in swing states amongst independent and persuadable voters, that's still a big issue. So if he goes in there and does not repeat a performance like the state of the state, those questions are going to linger and it's going to matter.
I mean, Van, that is the thing. Everybody's going to be watching him. Watching him. They're going to be watching his blinking. They're going to be watching his but they are, right?
This is our colleague Jamal made that point on Sunday, artfully, arresting old man face.
But they're going to be staring at it, right?
But here's the good thing about that. Donald Trump is a force of nature. Donald Trump is a runaway train. Donald Trump is a grizzly bear. If you can go in there and hold your own with him for an hour and a half, you couldn't, I couldn't. If you're Joe Biden, you pull that off, then you are fit to be president. This goes both ways.
It's like a tortoise and a hare argument, but nobody really wants to be the tortoise.
But it goes both ways. Trump is making a big mistake here. He is setting expectations so high for himself. But don't forget, you're taking away a lot of stuff from Donald Trump he's used to. He loves to have the oxygen of that crowd. He won't have it. He loves to be able to run over people. They're going to mute him. This is the first time you're going to see Donald Trump without the crowd and without his ability to bully people. And Donald Trump's got some challenges too now. We love talking about Joe Biden. Donald Trump's got some challenges.
Let me ask you about that, because he had a self-awareness that he does not often display about this issue. He gave an interview to Byron York at the Washington Examiner. He said, about this exact issue of not having an audience. He said, you have no audience to read. To me, the audience is easier because it's telling you what is going on indirectly with applause or not applause.
Yeah,
Right, so he knows this is an issue for him.
So at the rally, you guys didn't watch. I watched on Saturday night. Trump went out to the crowd and said, how should I talk? How should I interact with Joe Biden? Should I be nice to him? Boo. Should I be mean to him? Yay. Right. So he gets it. He understands politics at a visceral level. And so by not having that crowd, you're exactly right. He's not going to get a sense of
Donald Trump
are his punches landing or are they not?
He doesn't read books. He reads people. That's Donald Trump. And so that's why him not preparing doesn't matter in his mind, because he's used to reading the crowd. There'll be no crowd.
Right. And so Governor, let me ask you about that, because, he was asked in a podcast how he's preparing, and he answered in what seems to be a pretty honest way, at least from what everyone around him and who knows him seems to say. Let me play it for you, Governor.
People say, how are you preparing? I'm preparing by taking questions from you and others. If you think about it, we had a great meeting just now in Philadelphia with the at the shop. You saw that with all the wonderful people. We just left Faith and Freedom in D.C., and that was incredible. We had an incredible crowd.
Governor, actually telling there that while he's talking about how he prepares, which is to sort of have conversations with people and do interviews, he brings up the crowd and uses the word incredible to talk about crowds twice. I mean, he's going to be feeling it in that room. What do you think about his style of preparation, such that he's always done it, in this environment where the mics get cut and he has no audience? He might get very bored in that room. There's only 3 people.
Well, keep in mind, Aaron, the most important thing for this race, for these candidates, is not all the people that are already commenting or made up their minds. It's just those people in the swing states who are independent or persuadable. And if Donald Trump, because of the reasons you just mentioned, has to dial back his tone 10% or 15% or 20%, for those people, the people who are wondering, is Joe Biden too old? Is he wrong on immigration? Is he wrong on wokeness? Is he wrong on crime? Or is Trump too crazy to be president again? If they see a more subdued Donald Trump, for that subsegment of the electorate, it might actually be helpful.
Right. Like if he doesn't, now all the memes going around him about talking about sharks and whatever it is that, he does on his verbal cul-de-sacs at rallies. Basically, if he avoids that, look, is that his hurdle?
Sure, but just don't forget, his base expects him to go out there and whoop some butt. And the expectations for Trump are so high. Everybody talks about the low expectations. He's got to somehow, Donald Trump now, be this entertainer, this wrestler type of a guy for his base. He's also got to be calm and measured to deal with the people in the middle.
Got to have all his facts ready and be prepared.
He's got to do 50 different things. So everybody's going to be expecting the problems to all be on Biden's side. All Biden has to do is be Joe Biden. We already know that he's old. We already know that he's.
Keep going, man. Just keep going. I won't say anything else.
I'm saying we already know his deficits, but what we haven't seen from him is that big heart, that big empathy, and his ability to stand across the table from Donald Trump as few people can or ever have and deliver.
Not surprisingly, my money's still on Trump. Despite all the hurdles Van has laid in front of him, my money's still on Donald Trump.
Well, you just got to hope that some people in this country...
Showing up with the W on Thursday night.
Some people watch and say, you know what, maybe I'm just not going to cry about the 2 choices I have. If some people walk away feeling positive in some way, I guess we should all take that as a win for the country.
I got my money on Biden.
All right, thank you all.